Hello, I'm Patricia Angelin of Alba Technique, and we are here live on the Alba Technique Facebook page for the very first time to answer any questions that you might have about human emotion. Turning down this music, which will be a little bit too much, but that's the music that I have playing when students are able to be live in the room, when they come in, because it's easier on the limbic system to have the same thing. And Alba Technique, my assistant Katie, says, hello Patricia, hello Katie. Thank you so much for being with us. We're here for a half an hour, and I will answer any questions that you might have for those of you who are listening. I think that what happens is that we type them in, and then I receive them. Katie did ask me one question already, and it is very much an actor question. And thank you, Katie, for the beautiful music. And she asks, with so many more self-tapes, I'm looking at it on my phone, so many self-tapes being requested because of actor audition limitations live, what are some ways I can center myself just before I hit record? Boy, that's a really, really good question, because naturally we all get agitated, and it can be the agitation of, I'm really excited about this and I really want to do it and it's really, really wonderful, and but I'm kind of scared because I don't know how the person on the other end of the line is going to be receiving me, because I just have to hit record, and then yeah, I can look at it afterwards, but I don't know what they want. And so there's a lot of neurologically basic fear involved, even if it's coming across as I'm really scattered, and which I have right now, because this is the first time we've ever done this. So naturally I'm going to be feeling just a little bit that way. So one thing that anybody can do very, very safely in order to center ourselves before we push the button on the cell phone to hit record, or whatever the ratio is that we've decided we want to be in, or even the second time when we do our slate. For those of you who are not actors, the slate is when you state your name, such as, hi, I'm Patricia Angelin of Alba Technique. And then I say New York, or if they're looking for local hires, etc. So please do this right before you hit record and you think you've got everything organized and you've done your professional due diligence. Sit in a chair that has a hard front edge, and sit in that chair and raise your eyes up to an imaginary horizon line, sort of a far distance. So you're going to look through the walls of the room that you're in. Look through that wall like I'm doing now, and breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth, and in through the nose and out through the mouth. And do that breath 5 to 10 times. And then after you do that breath, shake yourself out very, very, very gently, and then take another breath in through your nose, and hit record and do your thing. I see that Rafael Martino, you have joined us, and it's offering me to bring you on camera. I am not sure I should do that, but I'm going to try it. We're all in this together, so I'm bringing you on, Rafael, if it allows me to do that. Bring Raphael, add Raphael. Adding you, Raphael. This is only a half an hour. The starting up is taking too long. So while I'm waiting for him to be added, that's what you do. Before you hit that push button, you're breathing in through your nose, you're breathing out through your mouth, and you let your eyes come up and you let them look in a far distance. And there are a number of other things that you can do, but that first time, every time, it's just going to help getting them centered in you. Raphael, I'm so sorry it failed to allow you to actually come on camera. So if you have a question, you will have to type it into the chat. Okay. I'm going to, meanwhile, another thing that you can do is what I have done. I've got this lemon verbena. Oh, it's looking backwards. Verbena, Verbena. I actually wrote a blog post about this if you want to go to Alba Technique. And verbena has a calming effect upon the nervous system. In France, it's called verveine, and it's a wonderful thing that I am drinking with my little cup from Sweden to calm my nervous system down as I meet with you. In through the nose. Exercising the larynx of the swallowing of something calming to you will be helpful too. So let me see that. Super calming. Okay. Most excellent. I see that my wonderful goddaughter, Angeline, is on from Pittsburgh. Hello, Angeline. Do you have any questions about emotions for me, Angeline? If you do, type them in. And let's see if we have another question that was sent in advance. This question is, while settling into my, quote, new normal, end quote, and seeing so many people become, quote, tired, end quote, of COVID and not following safety precautions, what are ways for me to calm my anger when I don't want to get into my fifth argument of the day about how people should care about other people? That is just a brilliant question for right now, because what with COVID, we are all, and I do mean all, including myself, we are all angry. Whether we are processing in our prefrontal cortex that we actually are angry or not, it's in our limbic systems. And the reason it's in our limbic systems is because of everything we've been going through globally. And it's not anybody's fault. It's not even the fault of the current administration, much as we feel like it is, many of us, or the governor, or the county commissioner, or the head of the Teachers Association. You know, the litany could go on. But we are processing it that way because of COVID. When COVID first started and we all began to be grappling with it in March and we locked down, we had anxiety. All of us had anxiety. Naturally, the unknown, it's an unknown bug. It's all over the world. What do we do? How will we live? How long will it last? Oh my gosh, it's huge. So all of us, COVID anxiety. Then, as time went on and on and on and on with COVID, and it's still going on, we human beings had different reactions. We got depressed, some of us. We had all of these challenges in staying home, in our domestic situation, whatever it is. All of us had problems. And it got through March, and it got through April, and it got through May, and then June, and all over the world. So we, to wrap this up, we went from anxiety and an underlying anxiety, which we've still got, to depression, trying to get rid of it, trying to relax, trying to figure out what we can do, and it feels like so much loss, and indeed it is so much loss. And then, in order to come up out of that, we got angry. And so, what can you do about that? Well, the first thing, as the Buddhists have taught us for many, many centuries, is the mindfulness. Recognize that when somebody snaps at you, they've got COVID anger too. So allow yourself to feel the anger response in yourself and know that what you feel and what they feel, that it's part of how we're in it together. And we still do have to be in it together. Very, very important. So what can you do? That breath I just taught you how to do before you hit play for an audition. Allow breath to come in. Take a pause with the person while you're feeling your incredible irritableness at them. Don't respond with an irritable snapping back at them. Don't allow yourself. You have more control than that. Look up to the sky. Breathe in through the nose. Nod your head and say, yeah, I hear you. Even if you are incredibly pissed off, say, I hear you. I hear you. And then take that breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then respond to them. That little space that you give yourself in between what you feel and what you actually do about what you feel is golden. It's golden for you, it's golden for the person with you, causing your reactivity, and it's good for the whole world. So do that. Okay, I've just been asked, Alex asks, can that breathing pattern also be used for stressful/fearful situations, such as job interviews, doctor's appointments? I'm going to see the rest of her questions. See more. It won't let me see more. Doctor's appointments, etc. ? Yes, it absolutely can. As a matter of fact, I have been teaching a course on it's the second time on somatic sensing. The soma is the body, and the soma means body in Greek. So somatic sensing is body sensing. And since we feel our emotions always, all the time in the body, we think we feel them in our minds, in our brains, but we don't. We feel them in the whole body. So another question just came through, but I'm answering this one. Stressful, fearful situations such as job interviews and doctor's appointments. So yes, Alex. One of the things that I teach people how to do in the somatic sensing, and we'll answer Sunny's question next because she's in that class, is how to observe yourself in a new and different way, so that you'll be able to tell more clearly what you're feeling, so that you then begin to have the choice of what to do about it. And you're giving yourself, again, that beautiful space, intellectual space, before the executive brain takes over and we just, boom, and we just do something. That's what you can use, Alex. You can make sure the breath coming in is smooth, like a Caribbean breeze coming in through the nose and out through the mouth. It could just center you in you to give you that little bit of time before you go into the doctor. So the mind starts, Alex, not going all over the place. Like when we're scared, our minds, we forget the question. I don't know what to do. I figure the word. I can't get the word I want. So with a doctor's appointment, do this kind of breathing and write down all your questions, especially now that we're doing them online. Our pre-appointments are a lot online. So write down the questions so you have like an outline and a list, so you don't, because you're scared, you don't miss anything. That doing already emotionally is going to set you up for a really good doctor's appointment. Ditto with the job interview. Do that breathing. Write down what you want to get, the questions you want to get from the interviewer, and what you want to ask them. You're hiring them as much as they're hiring you, and we forget that when we're afraid of not having a job. So with this COVID anxiety, that breathing that I gave you earlier on is going to help you. It's going to help you a lot. Okay, Sunny says, hello, Sunny here. I have a question. When I am so angry, I also cry. Why do I make tears, even though I don't have characteristics of sadness? That is a brilliant question, Sunny, because so many of us have that. It is what they call a mixed emotion. And the universal emotion that you have when you're angry is the anger, and you've correctly identified it, which is so good that you even know. Most people don't even know. You can look at them and they can be so mad at you, and you can say, I didn't mean to make you mad. I'm not mad. Whoa, okay. You're not mad? All right. I'm trying to deal with this thing here. So when you're angry and you start to cry, that is your body, Sunny, trying to release muscles. That's your body trying to calm the anger down and ratchet it down a little bit so you can deal with the situation. And you wouldn't show other people sadness, but you'd feel sad. You just feel like you want to sink down. So I would say that crying that you feel very naturally is an aspect of sadness. It's just an overlay onto your anger that's assisting your body. Our bodies are really smart. Our bodies are so smart. They know what we need to do to deal with the situations we're in. And being a little sad is very, very helpful when we're angry. It just pulls some of it back. It pulls it back and down so that we don't say something that would injure another person or the situation, or that we would get injured. So please don't beat yourself up for feeling weepy when you're angry. Allow that. Allow it. Allow it. It's very good that you feel that way. Rosette question. With all the good, quote, mind, body, end quote, practices I have in my, end quote, toolbox, end quote, i.e. yoga, certain faith I have, I'm trying to see more of the question, good community, I can call up at any time, the practice of writing, etc. So that's good. You're using a lot of Jungian techniques. Excellent, Carl Jung. When I'm in my day-to-day and get a rush of anxiety due to being stressed out or a moment of insecurity or an external negative event that occurs, in caps, the times where I could really use one of those good practices to get my emotions and mind and body back to a calm state, in caps, those are the times I never seem to actually practice or access those good practices I have. When I could really use them, it's like my thoughts tell me that I don't have time to pause for 5 or 10 minutes to do something to reset. How can I tell myself it is worthy even then? Oh, wow, that is wonderful. What a great question. I will tell you what your limbic system is doing with you. Like I just told Sunny what our limbic systems are doing us when we're so angry we just want to burst into tears. What your limbic system and body is telling you there, Rosette, is that you are anxious, is that for whatever reason you're fearful. Because one of the first things that when we have fear in our body is we start, as my mother would have said, running around like chickens with our heads cut off. In other words, our attention darts about, and lots of things come into our brain. Oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. I don't have time is one of the chief things that comes in. And even though your executive brain, Rosette, knows you do have time, you're not able to admit to yourself that you have time. I think that's one of the most frequent things that any of us have happen. So what I would say to Rosette is after this conversation, you will have asked the question, you will have typed the question, you will have heard the question through your ear, read out. You will hear me talking about your question to you. So allow your brilliant executive mind to know that, yeah, 5 minutes, it's a lot of time sometimes, but it might not take you 5 minutes. Every week, for those who are at self-use with Alba technique, which takes a while to get to, it means that the people with the emotional effector patterns of Susanna Bloch and colleagues, what they identified, it's gotten into the body and there's been enough of a mental emotional rewire so that both sides of the brain get to talk to each other at the same time, as it were, and we get more control. They do a circuit, which is just like going to a gym and doing a physical Nautilus circuit, and it's a circuit of the emotions. And that's so that as things come up, they can identify them with greater specificity and greater clarity. So for you, who have all these wonderful tools, but all of which seem to take time, like going to a yoga class, or indeed going to Pat's somatic sensing class, it just, that's an hour and a quarter long, and the same thing with the yoga classes. But you've got a lot of skills, Rosette. You can simply sit in a yoga pose that you know releases things and set a timer for yourself. Set a 3-minute timer. Almost all the time, you can excuse yourself from whatever meeting you're in and go, oh, I'm so sorry, I have to run to the bathroom. I know we don't have a lot of time. Can you wait? It's not an option. Excuse me. And then off you go and you go to the bathroom. And you sit on the toilet, even if it's in, you have to put the seat down near a public place. Yeah, COVID, wipe it off, all that crap you do. And sit there and do what I told you to do Look out into the far distance through the stall. Breathe in through your nose and out through the mouth. Look far distance. This changes the eye. It changes the aperture, the opening of the eye. It changes the musculature of the eye. And it changes the breathing pattern. It disrupts just a little bit. You can also look on Alba Technique. I think that my assistants have put it on the YouTube channels. I did some really brief, for Instagram and Facebook, self-calming techniques. They're purposely really short. So you can access those, make yourself Mistress Rosette of those things. They're very, very small. That breathing plus doing this would be one of them. You know, turning your head to the right and the left. I don't remember which things because they were specific for COVID and self-calming. So please go ahead and look at those self-calming things. Doesn't cost anything, easily available. So I think that answers it. And you are worthy. You are always worthy. And doing this will make you more worthy of you. And what you're going to find is that taking that 3 minutes, set that timer so you don't need to worry that you'll go over it. Setting that 3 minutes will make you able to be more present in the moment, in that meeting, with that client, with that casting director, with that interviewer, whatever it is. It really does help. It's such a small thing. And then gradually you get better and better at it as well. So at first it's only going to ratchet it down a little bit, but as you get better and better at it, you know you have this tool that's really quick. It's really easy, and it can absolutely do you no harm. That's the most important. It will do you no harm. So let me look here and see if I have any further questions. We've answered those. How much more time do we have? Oh, not a lot. We'll see if I have anything. I don't think I can. Okay. Sunny says, writes to us, somatic sensing class and qigong class are the most useful acting classes for me. It gives me a tool to deal with anxiety for acting in life. Highly recommended. Oh, thank you so much, Sunny. It is a great privilege to be working with you on Zoom from California to New York on Monday and on Tuesday. And I'm finding it very feeding and nourishing to myself as well, to know that I've got that time with you. On Monday, the somatic sensing, and then on Tuesday at 1:30 New York time, and what is that in LA time, 1:30 minus 3 Pacific time. It's amazing the way these things work. You know, you do something that's just for you, and I think I'm doing something that's just for you, and then I find that I am more because of working with you. And you are finding that even though we can't meet in person and do the Alba emoting emotional effector patterns yet, because I cannot teach those on Zoom. I was talking to Raphael earlier. I wish I could. It's unethical. Alba method, as the academicians call it, and Alba emoting, as it was originally. Alba emoting emotional effector patterns may not be taught online. I'm so sorry. But the identifier or the neuroscientists have forbidden us to teach them online. I need to be physically with you in the room. I need to be able to touch you. I need to be able to adjust you in gentle ways. We'll get there. We'll be able to do that. Meanwhile, we have somatic sensing that is safe to do, whether it's with Eddie in Ireland or with people in the UK who have attended, or anywhere else. This is something we can do, and it's preparatory. It will move your nervous systems more quickly through the Alba emoting emotional effector patterns when we're able to meet. But I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm only here to assist by answering questions. So to end, because I think we have to end. No, we have 5 minutes. Is there anybody else who has anything else they want to ask? Katie has just given us at the bottom of the screen a direct link to the first series of the self-calming series. Thank you, Katie. So any of you listening and watching can go right after that and find these simple, I think they're all 3 minutes or less. I did that purposely, and they are a series of self-calming things, so you can figure out what works best for your neural system. You don't have to do them all. Figure out which one works best for you, and then do that one. Yay us. So thank you, Katie, for that. So that will be available to you. And of course, you can listen to this half hour again. We will be doing this again. I think during COVID, it's a good way for me to be able to give to you and your colleagues with the questions that they have that are practical, that are just really, really practical about how the limbic system works in day-to-day terms in our lives and in our professional and personal lives, and just the dealing with ourselves. And it's going to be very helpful. So we will do it again, so you can stay tuned for when we do that again. And I think that as I'm getting ready to leave you, I will remind you of the breathing and add to it a posture. You want to find a chair that your feet can be on the ground. You want to be able to have the feet flat on the ground and allow the spine to be up, and down, 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 down into the feet. Then I'm looking down into camera at you right now, you can see I'm looking down. So I need to raise my eye level up to my horizon line, which is up here for me. And then I breathe in through my nose, nice and full, and out through my mouth. Do that at least 5 times, maybe 10 times. And what you're trying to allow, if you want to intensify this feeling, you breathe in through the nose, hold, and then out, mouth. And that was in 5 and out 6. But it doesn't matter what your rate is. It could be you can count them in 3, hold 3, out 3. In 3 through the nose, hold 3, out through the mouth 4. That's the way you start with this. This is very ancient. It's very, very well known. And we will be letting you know through Alba Technique what time, what day, whether it's going to be once a month we will do this, or maybe in the short term we'll be able to do it once a week for the next 3 weeks. And so think of your questions and get them to us for the next time, and we will attempt to answer them. Today I think we will end with a beautiful poem by Lucille Clifton, which I find to be extremely calming and a piece of art that is very useful. So the author of this poem is Lucille Clifton, and it is entitled Blessing the Boats at St. Mary's. May the tide that is entering even now the lip of our understanding carry you out beyond the face of fear. May you kiss the wind, then turn from it certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you in your innocence sail through this to that. Thank you very, very much for attending with us and for your questions, and I will hope to hear from you next time, and we'll develop this. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.